And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm your host, Paul DiRienzo, and we have a great show in store for you. Our guest, returning after a long absence, we're glad to have him back, Eric Taub.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Let Them Talk. I think you were on the radio version last time you were on.
It was about 13, 14 years ago.
Yes, and we've had a television version going since 2006. We're one of the longest running shows on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And glad to have you on to talk about these very important issues, because right now we are in the middle of probably the worst opiate or heroin epidemic in the history of the United States, the worst maybe in the world.
Yeah.
Where 40,000 and plus people are dying of heroin overdoses every year. Where everywhere you go in New York, in America, and I can't say the rest of the world, you hear horrific stories of, I don't know if I could, and you could tell me, like, I was in one place where a mother was so happy that their son was arrested for robbing a house and stealing a gun and getting an increase in the sentence for weapons because he stole a gun. Yeah. And saying now he won't die.
Yes. Must have been a relief for her.
Yes, that he was arrested and charged with extra because he stole a gun to try and buy heroin. Right? I don't know if people understand that, how that works. And then that's just one place. And then what's interesting is the extent of prostitution, and people don't realize throughout the United States. We're talking about opiate. How do people buy opium, buy heroin and opiates? But a huge increase in prostitution among people you wouldn't expect it from. People who are hurting all across America. We're not talking about the poorest. I mean, in the poorest ghettos of New York or America, most people can't afford heroin. It's an expensive drug. There's other things. There's spice and all this junk that people take. But we're talking
Isn't it the cheapest it's ever been, though, as well?
It might very well be.
Nationally?
And people are starting to smoke it now and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Where's it coming from? Do you know? Do we know where it's coming from?
It's coming from Mexico. I think primarily from Central America up through Mexico.
Not from Afghanistan?
But I think it's flown to Mexico and then it's brought up.
Really?
On certain highways.
Right. And it was funny. I was watching a BBC thing yesterday about where they talked to a Mexican smuggler. And they said, "Don't you feel bad about this?" And he says, "I'm not holding a gun to their head to use it."
Just making something available that would be available anyway.
Yes.
Well, that's the rationale.
Yes. Yeah. But is this within our purview? Because we're talking about your ideas about how to go about treating opiates, and you're a real expert in it, lifelong expert in it.
Well, I feel like I know less and less as time goes on, but that's another story.
Right. How did you become Eric Taub? How did you get interested in helping people who have this terrible opiate addiction problem?
Well, it was 1989. I received a call from a dear friend of mine from New York City. I was living in Gainesville, Florida at the time, and my friend was an alcoholic, and he was really interested in something called Ibogain. And he asked me if I knew what it was, and I didn't. But I immediately walked to the herbarium library at the University of Florida, came across a one-page article about NDA, Howard Lotsoff's small corporation out of Staten Island, gave him a call, and he sent me a hard packet copy of information. And when I read the subjective testimonials from people that had done Ibogaine, I was completely mesmerized and completely blown away, and I didn't understand why this plant medicine wasn't more available to more people. I had heard that the only person that was doing treatments was located in Amsterdam in hotel rooms, basically charging like $15,000 to $18,000 a treatment. I'm sure that some treatments were being done for free as well.
Scholarships, they would call them. And there was people who would help people, their friends and stuff, who would do it.
Yeah, so it took me a couple of years to fly to Cameroon, and long story short, because we only have a few minutes.
Cameroon in Western Africa.
Yeah. And I found probably the only chemist on the continent of Africa that was perfecting the extraction process, and I brought the first 13 grams of Ibogaine hydrochloride back to the United States.
They were extracting it in Africa, actually.
This one chemist was extracting it, and he charged me $1,000 a gram. I gave him whatever I had in my pocket.
That's about a dose, right?
1 gram, probably a little less, for addiction interruption. For a psychospiritual, it's about correct. I just immediately began to call everyone that I knew. I was probably called, I made like 12 hours worth of calls for 3 months.
Did you try
straight.
It yourself? You tried it
and
yourself?
A group of therapists and I came together, and the day that I came back from Africa was the day that an out-of-print book called The Healing Journey, a chapter from it called Ibogaine, Fantasy and Reality by Claudio Naranjo, was dropped in the lap of a therapist friend of mine from a 66-year-old client who had a facial tic, and he nor my friend didn't tell anyone I was coming back that day with Ibogaine. And that was the way that we had some protocols as to how to begin to do the directive therapeutic sessions, the psychotherapeutic and the spiritual sessions, but not the addiction interruption sessions.
Did you have a history before that with ayahuasca or LSD or any of those?
Well, LSD years before, but this was when I was about 40, and it was experimental, and I just was always looking for something like right livelihood, something to do, some dharma to do as an end in itself, not as a means to an end. And I was literally in the throes of a week where I was so focused on finding something that when I received the call and when I received the packet of information from Howard, I felt, wow, this is really what I want to do. And so I immediately published an article in this magazine in California called Magical Blend, and it reached 65,000 people before computers, and I was getting like letters and postcards, and people were coming from as far as Australia to Florida to do an underground session with me with Ibogaine for psychospiritual purposes, not even for addiction interruption. And I ended up then beginning to do the addiction interruption treatments. But what I really wanted to do, my intention in going to Africa, was that I wanted to find something that people can do at home safely, inexpensively, something that could empower people in a harm reduction way to take care of themselves. And I was very stubborn to admit to myself that Ibogaine was not going to be that which people can do at home without professional care, inexpensively, safely, without professional care. And so I went to Vietnam. I was invited by some doctors who were working for about 40 years with a combination of 13 different Vietnam and Chinese herbs that significantly decreased the pain of detox from short-acting opioids. And I spent some time with them. I came back, realized that there was no way that I can reach a lot of people working with the Vietnamese government, and the product that they were selling was very expensive. So I teamed up with a woman, a wonderful woman who spent 35 years working with Chinese herbs, teaching it as an acupuncturist as well. And she helped me create 2 remedies which significantly decrease the tolerance to opioids. And the second remedy ameliorates the symptoms of withdrawal by about 60 or 70%. It's so inexpensive, and every of these herbs are actually approved by the FDA. In combination, it's not approved,
really?
But it's an herbal concoction. And
what's it look like?
It's in powdered form. It's 150 grams, which lasts for 10 days, 15 days, 10 grams a day. It actually tastes good. It has cinnamon in it.
You take the powder?
Yeah, you can put it in your coffee or tea or juice, or just take it plain, and it tastes kind of good. And it just, after a few days, what happens is, for example, somebody will be walking to their car, they'll be driving to work, and they'll realize for the first time in years, they didn't take their opiate of choice the first thing in the morning because their tolerance decreases. And so they begin to realize that they could elongate the amount of time that they've had between doses of their opiate of choice.
Harm reduction. We've talked a lot on this show.
Yeah.
We've had Andrew Tatarsky on it several times talking about harm reduction. In other words, not cold turkey stopping, but reducing the use to a manageable level.
Right, until they get to a certain point where then, since they're empowered to be able to go from like 160 milligrams of OxyContin or 3 grams of heroin to 0.2 or 0.5 grams, they realize, wow, maybe if I choose to, maybe I can jump off completely. And so whereas some people never even thought, because they couldn't decrease the amount, once they feel empowered that they have control over their relationship with their opiate of choice, they then sometimes, not all the time, choose to jump off completely.
Right. Now, what are there actually are now, like, medically accepted in the sense of prescribed drugs for, we have, of course, methadone maintenance, right? And there's things like buprenorphine and MC10 or something, I don't know. Right? And these other things. How is what you're talking about an improvement over those, or is it an improvement?
Well, there's no counterindications to freedom formula, which is what I call it. People can be doing any kinds of antidepressants or anything else, and there's no problem with these herbs. But we have such a short amount of time. I want to get, because these are different tools, different. There's Ibogain, there's Chinese herbal combination, Western herbs. There's a new implant that's in town, the first of its kind in the world.
Implant?
Yes, it's a naltrexone implant, but it's 1 year long. It's not the usual 1 to 3 month long implant. So to me, the most profoundly effective 1-2 punch is Ibogaine to detox, and then the naltrexone implant for people that are afraid
they'll go back.
They'll go back.
It prevents you from taking heroin. You can't really take it.
Well, you can take it, but you just don't get high. So it basically renders opiates, alcohol, and methamphetamine useless to people.
I see. It blocks those receptors.
Right. And this second generation naltrexone implant, which is available in the Bahamas now, it's actually legal and available, actually enables people to get their lives together because it gives them a whole year.
It reminds me of because the new birth control methods are now they implant the birth control in a person, and they can go like a whole year without getting pregnant, or so that's it's sort of like I like the way that this changes the whole idea. It changes the whole latitude of what's happening, because all of a sudden, like, it doesn't matter who's in the Supreme Court anymore because nobody's getting pregnant anyway if they don't want to. So you don't have to have laws against heroin because it's not getting you high anyway, even if you're taking it. If you go through this method, it's totally changed the whole thing.
I wouldn't have been open to this at all 5 or 10 years ago.
Why is that?
Well, because it's a modality that. So I don't know. It's almost like Pavlov's dog. It just doesn't. It's not. But we're in desperate measures, and this is a desperate solution. And it's safe. And the other thing about the second generation implant is that it doesn't give you a rush of naltrexone, which creates depression and other side effects. It immediately starts with a low dose, and so people are very comfortable when they're taking it. And it just gives people a whole year to get their lives together so that they can then move on. And the percentages are tremendous. The success rate is really impressive.
What's the importance, though? What's the role of the 13 Chinese Vietnamese herbs? Which sounds a little bit like Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? The special herbs.
well, there's.
The
I mean, basically,
part.
I mean, going back to the other modality, the freedom formula. There's actually 17 Western and Chinese herbs in
Can you tell
my
us
formula.
a few of them? Are they proprietary?
The names are so long. No, they're not proprietary. They're on every label. And if you Google search all of the herbs, you'll see why it works, why it's a serotonin uptake, why it balances the dopamine, why it reduces anxiety and promotes sleep, and gets rid of restless leg syndrome.
Sure. Or you kick your leg at night and kick your partner in bed.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's one of the post-acute withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we need as many tools as possible to deal with the issue as it stands now.
Yeah. Interesting. So what, tell me, that's it. So we've laid out, we have the 17 herbs from Vietnam and China.
And the West.
And the West.
Yeah, there's a combination of Western and Chinese herbs. I don't think it's ever quite been created like this.
It's called the Freedom Formula.
Yeah,
right.
For lack of a better
name. What kind of herbs are they? Like, I'm curious. I'd like to know. What kind of, are they from trees, plants, roots? What?
All of the above. All of the above. There is a little cinnamon in there, which people appreciate.
Is it for the flavor, or is that for the?
It's for both. It's for both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not all that familiar with Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
I teamed up with someone that lives it and breathes it.
Yes.
I just am really, when I was involved with Ibogain, I taught people how to.
Have you continued your involvement in Ibogain?
Yeah, yeah.
So
but what I'm saying is I've always been involved in sharing these different modalities with people, but I've never taught myself the pharmacology of Ibogain, which a lot of people have.
You're like a guide, right?
Yeah.
A psychedelic guide.
Yeah,
in a way.
I was when I conducted the 754 treatments that I did.
Right, that makes you the guide.
But it's been 10 years since I've actually conducted a treatment with people.
So let's unpack some of this stuff, because our listeners might not be knowledgeable of. We've had a lot of shows about Ibogaine, but it's been a while, and we have some new people coming in and out, cycling in and out. So, what exactly again? Ibogaine is a root bark.
Right, Ibogaine is an alkaloid extracted from the West African shrub, Tabanati Iboga.
Yeah.
And it's been a rite of passage initiatory tool for probably thousands of years, but in West Central Africa during the last few hundred years. It came from the East, and Pygmies brought it, hunter-gatherers brought it to West Central Africa.
That's which is interesting, from the forests to Central Africa. And it was used as part of a religious,
just like peyote and ayahuasca.
Right.
And it still is. It still is, by different tribes in West Central Africa.
And people from all over the world go. I mean, I've seen many people go to become part of that religion, and they're welcome to come and to become. It's not an exclusive religion or anything like that.
No, as long as your heart is in the right place and your intention is pure in there.
Did you go
feeling?
through?
I didn't go through that, and I've never been attracted to that model. I'm a very Western character.
So the model that's, for example, Dimitri, who's been on the show a few times, where he wants people to do it as close to the original. So they're taking like root bark, where you have to take tablespoons of it, and it's very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Dimitri and other Ibogaine providers have incorporated the West and the East, and they still give people capsules of Ibogaine hydrochloride, which is like 95%, so that they don't have to go through the difficulty of ingesting for 3 nights in a row and purging and ingesting and purging. So everyone is creating
I have one friend
a
who
synthesis of it.
Yeah, I went to Gabon, and he did the treatment and the way they do it, and he said it was like eating 2 pounds of sawdust.
Oh yeah.
He said it was the hardest thing he ever did in his life.
Tastes worse than sawdust.
Right. It was the worst thing. It was the hardest thing he ever did in his life. But he wanted to do it. He wanted to do it that way. He was stationed there as part of the Peace Corps, trying to get his head together, his life together. And then he met these people, and they talked to him. He said, "You got to do this," and he did it. And he said it changed his life.
Yeah.
It changed his life. But you don't have to eat 2 pounds of sawdust.
Well, no, absolutely
nowadays.
Not. Absolutely not. Intention
is everything. You can if you want, but you don't have to do it that way.
Like I did a session once with a doctor who wanted to have a life-transforming experience. She wanted to create as discontinuous break with the past as possible. So she put her house in order in Minnesota, closed down her office as if she was going to physically die.
Oh, really?
But she knew she wasn't. But she just wanted to create that discontinuous
near-death experience.
break with the past.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. She didn't know.
Right.
But 6 months, 8 months later, she said, just now, all of my intentions have been worked through. Everything that I wanted to explore has been worked through, and it was the most life-transforming experience that actually just began when I did the Ibogaine. It didn't end after 12 hours. And with Ibogaine, you're not reflecting upon an experience that you had yesterday. It's often the beginning of almost like learning a new language, and sometimes it takes months for the process to unfold.
It really changes your head, and people, the psychedelic experience, and I've never done it myself either.
Why?
I don't know. Nobody's really turned me on to doing it. Despite the fact I've had so many people on the show and talked about it, maybe part of it is being trained somewhat in traditional journalism. You don't really do the thing you're talking about.
Okay, I'll let you off.
Yeah, like that might be part of it. Is like I sort of hesitate, and part of it is that I know that it could cause some upset stomach reaction where you get a little dizzy and might want to vomit.
Yeah, but you're so high, it's like you're just watching the body.
That's interesting.
It's completely irrelevant.
Yeah. So I have to say that I just have never been haven't yet to be in a situation where somebody who's been willing to guide me through an Ibogaine experience, so I could.
I know a lot of people that would be willing to, but we'll have this conversation another time.
Yeah. Well, we actually on WBAI, where this show used to be, we actually brought Dimitri was on and brought a bottle of the powder of the concentrated
Only
powder.
Dimitri would.
Yeah, and he was going out and going to all the people at the place and making them just taste a little bit on their tongue to get a taste of it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, even the smallest amount, right? So I've seen it, and then I was in, I saw it in Slovenia, the actual, the
hydrochloride, the white powder.
Yeah, like 92% pure, and then he had a crystal of the 100% pure. They use because 92% is realistic, but 100% is
99. Yeah,
it's for test. It's for testing purposes.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
To see what the pure. He had a crystal of it.
Yeah, I mean, Ibogaine is the granddaddy of psychoactives.
Yes,
we haven't found anything so powerful that it can actually overwhelm the symptoms of withdrawal from as much as I did a treatment once with a baker out of Miami who's doing 2,400 milligrams of OxyContin a day. That was the most, the
that's
heaviest.
That's
a huge amount. Yeah,
he's just popping them like candy.
Unbelievable. And he was fine after 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I've seen the Ibogaine is amazing. It's pretty much. And
it's
I don't want to.
It's
I'm
a
not going to
profoundly
run out and
effective
spend money
tool.
on anything, but Ibogaine is something to work. Go to Wikipedia, get the book I wrote with Dana Beal, the Ibogaine story about Howard Lotsoff. We were talking about Howard Lotsoff and all that. So we have a few more minutes. Where can people find more information about this? Because we're obviously barely touching the surface, and we're almost out of time. So
well, anyone can call me if that's okay.
Yeah, say your number.
My number is area code 352-519-6181.
And your name is as
Eric Taub,
Taub, right?
Yes.
Say the number again more slowly. So get your pencils if you want to write it down.
Area code 352-519-6181, and just call me anytime. I'm always available.
Right. And where else can they find information about these 17 herbs and spices?
You could Google search, but just call me. Yeah. Call me and I'll hunt some information down.
Right. Go get the news from the person who knows. All right, great. Eric Taub, Taub, right?
Right.
Is there an email or anything like that, or can you be searched? Can we find you by searching?
You could email me at Ibogain, just like the 3 words are spelled but smushed together. IBEGIN @AOL.com.
Okay, great. I begin again at AOL.com. That's easy. I begin again at AOL.com. Very good. All right, and with Eric Taub, you can learn more. So, how did you come across, now, how does Ibogaine work together? So Ibogaine is like the introduction. Then you believe the implant of naltrexone.
For some people, it would be profoundly
and then the
life-saving.
Right,
we're talking about saving lives too from overdose.
Right,
a year.
45,000 people a year.
It renders opiates like useless. And if there's nobody that overdoses under the influence of the
how come the government hates you? and hates all the Ibogaine people.
Well, the implant is actually legal now in Australia, in England, Holland, and Ireland, and the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And there's a hospital conducting the implants. It takes about an hour to receive. And there's an Ibogaine treatment center as well, right next to where the implants are.
Oh, that's interesting. So outside the United States, and of course, we know in Tijuana and Mexico, a lot of
50 miles out of Miami.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you can just go to Miami and pop over and be there in the Bahamas, right? And in Europe and different places, Ibogaine is not illegal in the whole world. It's legal in most places, actually.
No, it's not legal or illegal. It's an unknown in most places. I think it's legal in only one country, like Panama, for 20 years. Yeah,
makes it legal.
Yeah,
right. But it's not illegal. Like the U.S. does put it in a Schedule 1.
Yeah, it's a controlled substance in the United States. It's a felony to possess it, but it's so under the radar that I don't think even the authorities are really looking to hurt someone that's trying to save a few addicts every month. Yeah, like in different parts of this country where the underground is located. There are people doing underground treatments with Ibogaine.
2 minutes left. Eric Taub, why should we care about these addicts? You know, they screwed their own lives up. Nobody held a gun to their head as the Mexican
Well, I mean, at this point of the game, there's rarely a family that doesn't know of someone who's struggling with addiction. Whereas 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. It's in every socioeconomic,
Why do you think, in the minute we have left, why is heroin taking off? I mean, you talk to a lot of people, you do a lot of treatments.
Well, I had an experience, and we just have a couple of minutes, but I asked the film crew to come up to watch, to witness someone shoot up heroin, because I wanted to really understand. And when he shot up, he described the warmth. He described literally feeling like he was home. And I realized that there's no difference between being addicted to a substance and being addicted to consensus reality, or everyone wants to feel that sense of peace and rest and feel at home. And to me, there's only a handful of people that I've met on the planet traveling around the entire world that aren't addicted to something.
So they're trying to find something that's missing from their lives that would link them to everybody
else. It's missing within themselves. Right. Not even something missing out here, but missing in here.
Sort of hateful
so until you can be washing a dish, just having this sense of causeless joy for no reason except that it's just so unbelievable.
Thank you, Eric Taub.
Okay.
That's it.